John Gard back again. We're at the 2022 National Plowing Contest in sunny Greenwald, Minnesota. And today we're going to step through what it takes to get the plow adjusted in new conditions. So the first thing we're going to do is just get the thing in the ground and clean off some rust. Maybe make some initial observations with levers and depth and stuff like that. About 6.5, 7 inches. Now I'm going to start looking at Coulter adjustments, but to start Coulter adjustments I need to know if the plow is pulling straight. So I'm going to just start by eyeballing down the frame and the furrow wall, and it's pulling straight enough for me. And I think the rear Coulter needs to come out a little bit. There's a few places where the furrow wall is crumbling. There's a crumble spot. And if I look down on the furrow wall, I don't see much of a step, so that means I don't have much room for error. So move the rear Coulter out just a hair. That wasn't me. So I'm eyeballing how straight the plow is pulling. Looking at the beam and the furrow wall. Maybe it's not quite straight, but maybe we're just going to live with it today. So I'm measuring what the back bottom is cutting. So I'll look at the front furrow wall and measure over to the back Coulter, and it's about 11.5. So I'll sneak the front Coulter over just a hair, try to get it to 12 because this is a 12-inch frame. Wow. I'm going to watch if the front and back Coulters are doing the same thing, or the front Coulter's cutting too wide or crumbling back in. It looks pretty decent. So I've moved the front Coulter a few times, the rear Coulter a few times. We're finally cutting 12 inches with the rear bottom, and we're making a clean furrow wall. Now I'm measuring what the front bottom's cutting relative to this little marker I've got, and we're cutting 11.5. So I'm going to move this marker out just a little bit so that the marker hangs down along the furrow wall when we're cutting 12. Now we're going to measure the front again, and we're at right at 12. And there's the marker kind of just bobbing along on the furrow wall. Sometimes it hangs, sometimes it bobs. Perfect. Here's another check on how straight the plow pulls, and we need to know how wide the plow pulls so we get our finish to come out with. So I'm going to measure over from the furrow wall 5 feet, and I'm going to make a mark in the ground. Then we're going to plow past it and see what's left. So we plowed past it, and we had the front furrow at the right width that we wanted, and we got 36 left. So we're plowing right at 24 inches, which is perfect. That's what the plow is rated for. So now we're gonna try a crown. Now that we've got the Coulters figured out. The open and antique class plows a crown and throws the ground on top of unplowed ground, so they don't do an opening split like small plow does. So we'll see how this goes. If you can see in the distance, old Dad's got 2 siding poles down there that he's setting down, and the idea is to keep them lined up as he drives. He's making the furrow lever deeper because he's not moving enough dirt with the front bottom right now. He should be close to full depth with the rear bottom and be throwing equal height furrows. Maybe the front furrow could be a little higher. That looks better after he made that adjustment. Now old Dad's driving right alongside that furrow that he turned over. He's making sure he is bending over stubble with the rear wheel of the tractor tire, but not driving completely over that turned furrow. And he's also driving to kind of clean up those wild clods. He moved the plow over a little with the side hill lever so that that front furrow throws a correct sized furrow. And it's looking pretty good. I see 4 nice equal sized furrows. All right, coulters are adjusted side to side, so let's do some fine tuning with depth and jointers. We're plowing right at 6 inches right now. And I'll show you it. Right at 6. I like how the soil is rolling off the boards. It's not flowing way over the top, and it's still filling the boards. So let's try going a little deeper and see what it looks like. I went 2 notches deeper on the land lever just to see what it looks like. And we're definitely going over the boards higher. And there's some wild dirt that's not getting packed down. So it's definitely too deep, and that's at 7 right now. So we went back to where we were at. We went 2 notches back to where we were at 6, and then went 1 notch shallower just for fun. It doesn't look terrible either. I actually kind of like it. And we're at, now we're still at 6. So it didn't have much of an effect. So these John Deere EP bottoms typically like 5.5 to 6 inches deep. I guess the only thing that you would not want to plow too shallow is if the ground is uneven, which I'm starting to see that a little bit in these wheel tracks, like there. If it doesn't turn enough ground in those wheel tracks, then you might want to go just a hair deeper so it's turning over consistent soil. So we went 1 notch deeper, back to where we started basically. And I can see it is going over the boards a little bit more than it was. And we're at 6.5. So yeah, I think we'll shoot for that 6 to 6.5 inches. So now let's look at jointers. So where I've got this joiner set right now is the very tip of the joiner. I measured that down to the share, and both of them are at 4 inches. But I think the rear joiner is moving a little bit more ground than the front. And so I think we're gonna lower the front coulter. I didn't show you, but the front coulter is just a hair higher than the rear right now. Lower it maybe half an inch and we'll see what it looks like. I think that looks a little better. Here's the root of the problem with these joiners. I like to have the joiners set exactly the same height off the share and exactly the same height in front of the moldboard, because as that soil is lifting off the share, you want that joiner to move the same amount of dirt the same depth. Well, stupid John Deere only gives you two options for mounting the coulters, and the rear coulter is set on the front two holes and the front coulter is set on the rear two holes to make this all work out right. So if I measure from the joiner to the front of the moldboard on the rear bottom, it's like 9.5. If I do the same thing on the front, it's 10. So that soil is lifting more, and the rear is cutting deeper just by the nature of it being half an inch further back. So that's why we're going to run the front joiner just a hair deeper to compensate for that. Now I just noticed something as we're plowing along. That furrow lever seems to be set way deeper than normal, and front furrow is turning a matching furrow size, so that's not the issue. But, and I was concerned about this when we were setting things up in the shop, I think the tractor drawbar is too high and we're pulling up on the front of the plow too much, and that furrow lever being set deeper is our clue. Okay.
I got the top one already.
Oh boy.
It moved. What you just did. You must be far enough. Yeah.
You got this already? This one?
Yeah. This is all loose.
Now we've got the tractor hitch lowered, one hole, and we'll see what happens here. We do this to ourselves because this tractor has a loader on it the other 360 days of the year, and we raise the hitch up for that. And yeah, now the front's plowing deeper at that exact same lever setting. I already shallowed the furrow lever up a little bit. And it looks like we went too far the other way. But I think we're going in the right direction. There, the plow looks a lot happier. We're turning equal furrows. The levers look normal. I like the angle of the hitch. I think we're moving equal amounts of dirt with the jointers when we're not scraping over rocks. I think we got it dialed in. We could run moldboard extensions on this plow, but with this loose crumbly dirt, I don't know that we need it. It's turning it over fine, nothing's crumbling back. I don't think we need them.